It happened in the fall of 2014. I had just moved into an old farmhouse about 30 minutes outside Asheville, North Carolina. It wasn't much: paint peeling, a crooked porch, and floors that creaked like they were always groaning in pain. But it was cheap, private, and mine. The house sat on the edge of a winding mountain road surrounded by thick forest. It felt like the world fell away when you were out there. One night in late October, a cold front came through. Rain slammed the roof like it was trying to punch its way in, and the wind howled through the cracks in the walls. I had no TV signal, no Wi-Fi, and barely any cell service, so I was curled up in bed with a book and a candle burning beside me. Around 11:30 p.m., I heard something hit the porch. It was faint at first, just a soft, wet thump. I thought maybe a branch had blown down, but then it came again, louder. Thump, thump. Like footsteps, slow, deliberate. I got up and peered through the curtain. Rain blurred the glass, but I could make out a figure. A man, soaked to the bone, just standing there, his back to the door, swaying slightly. No umbrella, no flashlight, just him and the storm. I flipped on the porch light. He didn't react. I opened the door just a crack and called out, "Sir, you okay?" He slowly turned around. His face was blank, empty, eyes wide and glassy like he was in shock. His clothes were ragged, like he'd crawled out of the woods. And then he smiled, this crooked, toothless grin, and whispered, "It's open now." "What's open?" I asked, already starting to shut the door. He didn't answer. He just started walking backward into the dark, never breaking eye contact. I slammed the door and locked every bolt. The next morning, I checked the porch. Muddy footprints, but only one set leading up to the door, none going back. And on the wall, scrawled in wet dirt with a finger, were 3 words: "Let me in." I used to work the graveyard shift as a nurse, about 45 minutes from home. My drive took me through the backwoods of Arkansas. 2-lane roads, no street lights, just trees and darkness. One night in April, it was raining harder than I'd ever seen. Sheets of water slammed my windshield, and thunder cracked so loud it felt like the sky was splitting open. I was about 20 minutes from the hospital when I saw it, something lying in the road. At first I thought it was a deer, but as I got closer, I saw it was a person, face down, arms sprawled, not moving. I pulled over, put on my hazards, and grabbed my phone. No signal, of course. I stepped out into the rain and slowly approached. The person was wearing a gray hoodie and jeans. I shouted over the storm, "Are you okay?" No response. I bent down, ready to check for a pulse, when I noticed something odd. There was no blood, no cuts, nothing. And the clothes weren't even that wet. Then the body jerked. Not like someone waking up, like something twitching, snapping into place. The head twisted way too far, bones cracking audibly. And that's when I saw the eyes. Black. No whites. Just void. I screamed and ran back to my car. As I fumbled with the keys, headlights lit up behind me. A pickup truck pulled over and an old man jumped out. He looked at me, then at the road. "You saw it too?" he asked. "Saw what?" I gasped. He didn't answer, just stared into the trees and said, "Don't stop again. It's not human. It plays dead to get close." I got in my car and drove like hell. Didn't even slow down when I passed the spot again. I never saw the thing again, but when I told the story to another nurse, she said locals had seen something like that before. Always during heavy rain. Always in the road. Back in 2010, I was house-sitting for my aunt in a small town outside Seattle. Her place backed up against dense woods, and the only neighbors were about a quarter mile down the road. She was away in Europe, and I figured I'd enjoy the quiet. But the second night there, a storm rolled in. Non-stop rain, howling wind, the works. At around 2:00 a.m. I was lying on the couch, dozing off to the sound of rain on the roof, when I heard a loud knock at the front door. I froze. Who the hell would be out here in the middle of nowhere in this kind of weather? I waited. Another knock, slower, heavier. I turned off the lamp and peeked through the curtain. There was a woman standing at the door. She looked soaked, hair plastered to her face, water dripping from her dress. But what hit me hardest was her expression. Her mouth hung open like she was mid-scream, but no sound came out, and her eyes, wide, almost bulging, locked right on mine. I didn't open the door. Instead, I called 911. The dispatcher said someone was on their way, but it would take at least 30 minutes due to flooding. I watched the woman. She didn't move, didn't blink, just stood there, dripping and staring. Then, suddenly, she turned and walked around the side of the house. I ran to the back window, grabbed a flashlight, and shined it into the yard. She was gone. When the sheriff arrived, we searched the entire area. No footprints, no wet trail, and the front porch, bone dry. I told my aunt when she got back. She went pale. Said when she bought the house, the realtor told her about a local legend, a woman who drowned during a flood in the 1970s. She'd been banging on people's doors, begging for help, but no one let her in. Now she comes back on stormy nights, still begging, still dripping, still staring. I never stayed there again. And those were 3 true rainy night horror stories. Proof that the darkest things don't always wait for clear skies. There's something about the rain that changes everything. It drowns out footsteps. It blurs the edges of things you think you see. It makes it harder to call for help, and easier for something to get close without being noticed. Whether it's a stranger on the porch with an empty stare, a thing pretending to be human in the middle of a flooded road, or a ghost still soaked from the storm that took her, these stories remind us that rain doesn't just bring water. It brings memories, things forgotten, and things that never left. So the next time you're alone during a downpour, and you hear a knock on the door, or see a figure standing just beyond the glass, think twice before you open it. Because some things don't want shelter. They want you. If any of these stories gave you chills, let us know in the comments which one got to you the most. And if you've had a rainy night encounter of your own, something strange, something wrong, we'd love to hear it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real horror stories that follow you into the night. Until next time, stay dry, stay inside, and whatever you do, don't answer the door after midnight.